Hi, everybody. Welcome along to another episode of Hiring in Healthcare. Today we have Meg. Meg, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. My name is Meg Harrell. I've been a nurse for 10 years. It's crazy to say that. But I'm also an author and a teacher and a digital creator on my blog, meg4.com. And I started the blog as a resource for other nurses and just like a place where people can go and get a little bit of extra secret tips and tricks that maybe they don't teach you in school or that they won't teach you when you do your preceptorship at a hospital. So yeah, I currently live in Florida in the United States. I write books and courses for nurses, and I work in cardiovascular ICU, and I love working night shift. And another favorite thing I do is just like spread a very positive message to other nurses on social media. So on Instagram and my TikTok and my YouTube.
Yeah. What's your TikTok username?
It is Nurse Meg RN. So if you look for me, Nurse Meg and then RN, like registered nurse.
Yeah, I recommend everyone should check it out because Meg has quite an interesting lifestyle. I'm certainly jealous a little bit. So everybody check that out. So Meg, I'm curious, like, first of all, why are you in love with working night shift? So usually we find that's quite difficult to hire for. What makes it
Well,
interesting?
I think some people are built for it and some people are not. Like if you're not built for it, don't do it. Don't continue to force yourself. But I've just always been a night person. I'd rather just stay up all night. It's really easy for me personally. And I think it gives, at least for me, it gives me a lot of freedom. I have two kids. So, taking them to school, sleeping when they're at school, and that sort of thing. It just gives me so much more freedom. And then if I just lose a little bit of sleep, I can get more done during the day when everybody else is awake. I like the freedom of it.
Yeah. Is that like a big part of the job for you as a nurse? The freedom, or what else would make it attractive?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of freedom in nursing because you can find a job in so many different fields. I mean, obviously, people think of nurses working in the hospital or maybe in a doctor's office, but you can work in human resources for any company. You can work for an airline. You can work on a cruise ship. I mean, the possibilities are endless when you have a nursing degree.
Yeah, I never thought of that cruise ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they need nurses and doctors.
Yeah, that's really interesting because my friend was a photographer on a ship, but I never thought there's a version of every profession pretty much. They need a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a little city.
Yeah, on the seas. So whenever you would be looking for a new potential position, what makes jobs stand out to you?
Well, I mean, the top thing that I think every nurse is going to agree with me on this is the compensation and the ratio. So obviously, we want to be compensated and we want to know how much we're going to make. And if there's some type of bonus or sign up bonus, that's always very attractive. And then we want to know the hidden details of that. A lot of hospitals will be like, yeah, we'll give you a $10,000 sign on bonus, but we're going to pay it out over 3 years and you have to stay here 3 years. We want to know things like that up front. And then ratios are super important to us. I mean, if the job pays $1 million an hour, but we have to take care of unsafe ratios, like it's 8-1 or something, like I might not be able to handle 8-1, 8 patients, just me, no tech. We want it to be safe also. So I think it's like a balance of ratio and compensation for a lot of nurses. Those are the two biggest things.
Like, how do you find those out? Because I know a lot of ads are a range of pay and they don't say the ratio. At which stage are you usually asking those questions?
It's usually in the interview, but sometimes the recruiters will have that information. Sometimes they won't. But whoever you're talking to, that's like the first questions that I ask, before anything really is those two things right away. So sometimes you have to get almost to the interview step before you can ask those questions, but some will know ahead of time.
Okay. And you touched upon like sign-on bonuses paid out over 3 years.
Yeah.
Is that still attractive to you, or do you see that as like a bait and switch where they say the big figure and then later on it's actually revealed to be not as attractive?
Well, I'll, from my perspective, I've worked in so many places in Florida and North Carolina, and I've had a lot of interviews and a lot of opportunity. And when I see a large sign-on bonus paid out over time, it feels like a trap. It feels like this is not going to be a good environment. It's going to be unsafe ratios, and they're trying to trap me in for 3 years, and then I'm going to leave and they're going to get someone else to just trap in for 3 years. So when they offer, even if it's less, if it's like a $5,000 sign-on bonus that's paid after the first 90 days or something like that, I would take less money because it feels like they know I'm going to stay. They know that this is a good environment and they're just trying to fill a position. But when they're trying to trap you for a long period of time, it's like, ooh, maybe people don't stay there for a reason.
Yeah, does it set off alarm bells?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, it's so counterintuitive to spending more money to get less results almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit about when you see bonuses. Where do you actually look for jobs whenever you come to searching for a new one?
Well, I mean, I usually use all the regular websites that have job opportunities, but sometimes I'll go directly to the hospital and look on their jobs and kind of see what's open there.
Okay. And like you said, go to the hospital directly. Do you have in mind the hospitals you're interested in, or?
Yeah, I mean, depending on where I'm moving, or if I know that a certain hospital is close by and I know that they are hiring, or I've seen an ad or something, and then I'll go directly to that website.
Okay. And a big thing that we like to promote is social media. Do you ever look at those channels when you're searching for a job?
I don't actually. That's interesting. That would actually be very attractive to see an ad where I'm already spending time, you know? I mean, we're all on social media. It's hard to deny that. But yeah, that would actually be really helpful to see ads, honest ads, or even like testimonials from a nurse manager saying, hey, we're hiring on my floor at such and such hospital. These are the ratios. This is a sign-on bonus. Click here to apply. That would be incredible.
Oh, you mean like a video of an actual manager saying how it is?
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Or even like, you know, or one of the high-level nurses or something at the hospital.
Yeah. Okay. Might try that out.
That would be like mind-blowing, and I don't know why they don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few things. People just copy one another. So the dumb thing is to just put up the pay range, the hours, and the title because the next person's doing it.
Yeah.
So some organizations are a bit scared to put themselves out there because of brand concerns. So
Yes.
I think there is this like constant struggle between being more relatable and then appeasing your colleagues. But that's definitely a great idea.
Yeah.
Whenever, say you clicked on that ad and you got speaking to the manager, what do you think? What aspects in them would make them a great recruiter of nurses?
I think like upfront and honesty. I mean, the thing that the disconnect between clicking on an ad or applying to a job and then actually hearing what's there is I want to hear the environment. I want to hear like what a life or what a shift would be like. I want to hear how much I'm going to make an hour. I want to know how many patients I'm going to have to take care of. I want to know if there's any like accessory staff, like a tech or a nurse's aide or something to help me. Do you have a secretary to help answer calls or things like that? I want to know the environment before I show up on my first day. I think that transparency would be huge. I think a lot of nurses would appreciate that before they sign up.
Do you ever find people aren't as transparent as they should be?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Nursing is a difficult job, And there's a lot of hospitals that, maybe allocate money a little bit differently, and they don't have a secretary, they don't have a nurse's aide, and they'll pay you a lot of money an hour, but you're taking care of like 7, 8 patients at a time, and you won't know that until you get into it, until you're there the first day, and then you
Yeah.
realize it.
And look, what do you and people you know do? Say you get hired and then you realize this is a bad situation. What's the usual response?
People will leave. There's a lot of openings, and if it looks really bad and it feels unsafe, people will just leave.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Money to hire somebody and to train somebody, so just be upfront right away.
Yeah.
Your situation.
Yeah, because I think a lot of organizations are left scratching their heads why their offers aren't accepted.
Yeah.
Like I know some that like half their offers are accepted. Do you think a low offer, so job offer acceptance rate is because of the factors you mentioned, or is there anything else?
Yeah, the lack of transparency. Absolutely. We want to know what we're getting into, and if you're totally upfront, it'll be shocking. It would shock the nurses that people would be upfront, and to actually have contact with the nurse manager or the charge nurse, or somebody on the floor that you work with. I think having the nurse manager write the job description, or even like have a short little video or something and say, hey, we're hiring 2 positions on day shift, 2 positions on night shift. We have a secretary, we have a tech. Your ratios will be this. This is our pay range. We could talk about the range and the bonus, and just that little bit, just that 60 seconds, I would definitely see more than 50% of those positions filled.
Sounds like an excellent idea. I love that. Radical transparency.
Yeah, and I definitely could see so many people copying that type of thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So, want to know now, where do you think most organizations go wrong, apart from the lack of transparency? Is there anything else you think they go wrong in when they're trying to recruit nurses?
Well, okay. There's this running joke with nurses that nursing recruiters are worse than ex-boyfriends because they call and they text constantly. Like, I'm not actively looking for a position right now, but I still get calls and texts almost every single day from recruiters or different recruiters. So maybe don't be so aggressive. Like, you could like follow up maybe every month or every couple of months. But the constant calls and texts feels excessive, and it's a turn off. It makes me feel like I don't even want to answer. I don't even want to talk to you.
So that's really interesting, because I think on the recruiter side, they dislike that situation as well. So both sides kind of hate it. And they say, this person's ghosting me. Why can't they just give me an answer? It sounds like you're saying that their aggressiveness just makes you want to keep ignoring them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like, if you're being ghosted or they're not answering your calls, they're not texting you back, that's the no. Just stop being aggressive with the offers and the contact.
Yeah. But you're seeing the messages, but you're just choosing to ignore them because you don't like the strategy.
Yes. And it's too much. And people need to realize they're not the only recruiter. They're not the only agency. So to get like 5 calls a day and voicemails and get texts constantly every single day, it's a lot.
I think so. Let me just like play devil's advocate. I'll say I'm a recruiter, and you applied to my position, say last week, and I'm trying to reach out to you because I think you'd be a great fit and you'll love it here. Do you think I should keep going because I believe in that, or you think I should stop after a point because you're obviously ignoring me?
I think two attempts is great. Like if somebody just applied for a job a week ago or a month ago, they're actively looking, that's definitely the time to contact them. Contact them twice, contact them once, like, hey, I just saw you applied. I think you'd be great for this. What do you think? And then if they don't answer, maybe follow up. Be like, hey, I think you'd be awesome. Like maybe start with a compliment. I think your skill set and everything, you'd be so awesome for this position. I think that you would enjoy it. And then after a couple of attempts, take that as your no.
Mm.
Because it's 2021. We're all getting the texts. We're all getting the calls.
Yeah.
They're not missed, okay?
Okay, so they are hitting.
Yeah, to ignore them.
They're being ignored. Okay.
Think of it as a relationship. If you're constantly texting and calling someone and they ghost you, they're not interested.
Yeah, it is the same. You're just so pushing them away.
Yeah.
I think we have been guilty of doing that as well in the past. Some of our clients reaching out over a long period of time without hearing anything back. Is there any kind of alternative approach, say a type of wording in a message or something that the recruiter says which would make you tell them, okay, it's enough, or make you stop ghosting them? Because, for example, we sent out messages that were just like, are you still interested? Send yes. If you are, send no if you're not. And that got a really good response.
Yeah, that's short and simple is the way to go.
Okay.
Because if we're looking, we're going to be aggressive. We want a job. We're going to answer whatever we can. We're going to apply to everything we can. If we're not looking, we don't have time. We're very busy. We're working. We're tired. We don't want to read a whole paragraph. That yes or no, quick little sentence is awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So last question. I think I've learned so much so far, but I have one thing I want to know. If you could give a message to all the recruiters and nurses out there watching who want to become better at what they do, what would it be?
Maybe get more personal with them, like find out what they're actively looking for, maybe a detail about them, like they have kids or they have a dog or, something like that, or where they're from. Make it a little bit more personal and less scripted.
Okay.
And then come with those details about the job, ratios and environment and pay. Come with those details.
Okay. So personal, like bring out the personal things, and then being transparent are my two takeaways. Okay. Great. Well, thanks so much for your time and sharing that.
Yeah,
that's really useful, I think, because I haven't heard someone speak so in depth about the whole text message issue, especially. So definitely going to be sharing this with a lot of people. Have you got any parting words before we go?
I always have words. I can constantly talk, especially about nursing. But yeah, just be honest with all the nurses. Ask them if this is too much, or ask them, do you want me to call you instead of text you instead of call you? Just everybody be honest with each other and upfront. And be courteous of people's time.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to close. So thank you so much for your time. I'm courteous of your time. I appreciate it. And I hope we'll get to speak in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much.
See you later.
Alrighty.